Okay, so picture this. The lights go out across San Francisco on a Saturday night. Total chaos, right? Well, that chaos kicked off a super public showdown between two of the biggest names in tech. We're going to dive right into this battle of the robotaxis. And it all started with this post right here from Elon Musk. See, while videos were flying around the internet showing his rivals' cars just stuck in traffic, he drops this bombshell. A super bold, super direct claim his tech totally immune to the problem. I mean, this wasn't just some off-the-cuff comment. This was a shot fired, plain and simple, in the whole self-driving car race. So, Musk's post immediately makes you think, right? How could two of the top self-driving systems have such, wildly different reactions to the exact same event? Was this just a simple glitch for Waymo, or was it something way deeper, something fundamental about how their cars are designed? Let's unpack this whole thing. All right, first things first. To really get what happened to these cars, we have to understand the scene, the environment they were dealing with. We're not talking about a controlled test track here, not at all. This was a full-blown real-world crisis, unfolding across an entire city. So here's the play-by-play of what went down. It all starts with a fire at a really critical PG&E substation. That little spark triggers a massive blackout on Saturday evening, and boom, by nightfall, the whole city is just one giant traffic jam. Traffic lights are dead, the entire transit system is completely thrown into chaos. And the scale of this? It was just immense. We are talking about 130,000 homes and businesses, all at once, plunged into total darkness. You couldn't have designed a better test, really. This was the perfect storm for seeing how this fancy, autonomous tech handles a massive, unpredictable infrastructure meltdown. Okay, so now let's get to the heart of it, the real question. How did the self-driving cars actually perform in the middle of all this chaos? So it's really a tale of two robotaxis. On one side, you have Waymo. They had to temporarily suspend their ride-hailing service because, well, videos were popping up everywhere showing their cars kind of stalled out at dead traffic lights, actually making the traffic jams worse. Then on the other side, you have Elon Musk claiming his Teslas were totally unaffected. And of course, a video pops up that seems to show a Tesla just cruising through a dead intersection, no problem. Now, this huge difference, it probably comes down to two totally different ways of thinking. See, Waymo's cars are famously loaded with sensors, like LiDAR, and they lean heavily on these super detailed 3D maps. So when reality, like a dead traffic light, doesn't match the map, the safest thing for the car to do is just stop. Tesla, on the other hand, just uses cameras. It's trying to get its AI to see and interpret the road like a human would, which, you could argue, might make it better at handling unexpected chaos. But here's the really interesting part. The Waymo cars, they weren't actually malfunctioning. Not at all. They were doing exactly what they were programmed to do. Their whole system is designed to see a dead traffic light and immediately treat it as a four-way stop. Which is exactly what a good human driver is supposed to do. It's a safety protocol baked right in. So, get this. The protocol itself worked perfectly. The problem was the scale of it all. With just so many intersections down all over the city, the cars were stopping for longer than usual to make sure it was safe to go. Now, if one car does that, you'd say, hey, that's a cautious car. But when an entire fleet of them does it at the exact same time, well, that's how you get citywide gridlock. So what was Waymo's official take on all this? Well, they came out and acknowledged what happened. They were quick to point out that, hey, the root cause here was a huge failure of the city's own infrastructure. But to their credit, they also took some ownership. They said they're committed to making sure their tech can get better at adjusting to the overall flow of traffic when things go this haywire. This whole incident in San Francisco, it's not just some dry technical case study. No way. You have to see it as a flashpoint in a much, much bigger battle between two absolute corporate giants. So let's be crystal clear about who the players are in this game. On one side, you've got Waymo, which is owned by Alphabet, Google's parent company. And on the other, you have Tesla, led by none other than Elon Musk. We're not just talking about car companies here. These are two of the most powerful, most influential tech companies on the entire planet. So that post from Musk on X, it wasn't just him thinking out loud. It was a totally strategic move in a really high-stakes game. The goal for both of these companies is massive. It's nothing less than completely redefining the future of how we get around. And in that kind of war, every single public win or public failure becomes ammunition. Okay, so what's the big takeaway from this whole blackout battle? What does it really tell us about where this technology is headed? And maybe more importantly, What challenges are still waiting for us down the road? This whole thing really forces us to ask a huge, fundamental question. We've all seen the videos of these cars handling really complex driving maneuvers, right? But are they truly ready for the pure chaos and unpredictability of our cities, especially when all the other systems we rely on start to fail? So, if you boil it all down, this whole event taught us a few really critical lessons. First, it just screams about how dependent we are on infrastructure. These super advanced vehicles, they're still incredibly vulnerable when something as basic as the city's power grid goes down. Second, it shows us a massive challenge with scale. A safety rule that makes perfect sense for one car can have, well, disastrous consequences when a whole fleet of cars follows it at the same time. And finally, it shows us that the PR battle, how a company spins the story, is every bit as important as the technology itself. So in the end, this whole clash in a blacked out San Francisco leaves us with one last big, provocative thought. This isn't really about which car is better at navigating a broken traffic light. It's about a much bigger question, a question of resilience and reliability. When our complex, modern systems inevitably fail, who do you trust to drive us into the future?